Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. You're watching Inspired by My Angel, CLM, and my name is Elaine. I'm owner and creator. Okay, today I've got everything laid out. We're going to be working on a grapevine. And I have a little bit of a different angle because we're going to be designing a tulip wreath. So I thought this angle would be the best for everyone to be able to see. So here's a wave. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you so much. So as I said, we're going to be designing a tulip wreath for the spring. Of course, it would be nice for Easter as well. And I've got the florals laid out. We've got the tulips that you get at Michael's. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them. These are some that I had left over from last year. We've got a light green, and they're shaded, and some yellow. I've also got some greenery. And then it's not going to have a ribbon bow. I've decided that that's my twist. I'm going to fabricate, if you would, a bow made with florals. And that'll be the first thing that we'll get started on. But first, I wanted to tell you that I did go ahead and I've placed a hanger. I mentioned that before. I like to do that because in some of the photos that I've received after purchases, people have hung their wreaths wrong. They've had them upside down. Hi, Dustin. Thank you for joining. They've had them upside down and sideways, so I prefer to put a hanger on. Whatever you're comfortable with is fine. I did clean up the wreath a little bit, especially the back. If there was anything that I thought might scratch a customer's door, I clipped it off. But other than that, that's all I did. This wreath I purchased as a 14-inch, and it just barely meets the 14-inch. So that's what we're going to be designing on today. I've got my skillet that I just placed my Gorilla Glue sticks in. I just cut them up, drop them in. It's just a skillet you would get at Walmart, Amazon. I prefer working with a skillet. I burn myself much less using a skillet, but I do have my glue gun here as well if I need to get the glue to the wreath. The only supplies we're going to need are my cutters and good glue, and I think that's about it. Okay. A little bit about myself. I'm new to the art of wreath making. My journey began in September of 2020. So I have been in several design classes. I'm currently in Dustin's creative coaching group. And the journey's amazing. So I just thought that I would be doing these lives and taking you along on the journey with me.
Greg and Michelle.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Michelle. I appreciate you. Okay, so like I said, my tulip wreath is going to have a twist. And what I have learned in design school and the way that I have been designing is usually to place my larger elements on my wreath first. In this case, it would have been a bow. But as I said, I'm not going to be using ribbon as a bow. I've decided... this is what I'm envisioning. We'll see if it's going to turn out. I've never done this before. I did make the regular tulip that goes all the way around last year. It's very compact. And I did sell. But I just thought I'd like to try something a little bit different. This popped into my head and I thought, let's give it a try.
Your BFF is here. Sandy.
Hi, Sandy. Okay, so this is what's going to represent my bow. I'm not sure. I think they might be dahlias. I'm not positive. I'm using my stash. I haven't gone out and purchased anything. That was my New Year's resolution. It was to use what I have. So we'll say it's going to be a 3-loop bow because I'm going to be using 3 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and place these on the wreath, being my largest element, just dipping it in a little bit of glue. And we've got our first loop, if you would. We'll get our second loop. I'm inserting in the direction of the grapevine. I've left my stems probably 4 to 5 inches because I want to make sure that the glue has contact with the vine. Good contact.
You said fluff instead of cut.
What?
You said fluff your stems.
Fluff.
Instead of cut.
And there's our 3rd loop. Okay? So that's my bow. So now we need tails.
Top one first.
Hmm?
Top first.
So I'm going to use this greenery. If you can see that, I'll try to get that a little close for you. It's just, I don't know if it's maidenhair. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just kind of wispy. And this is what I'm going to be using for my ribbon tails.
Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for joining. And then I'll have a couple of tails that I'll have come out the top. So I'm going to get those placed first. So we'll have one tail come out up here at the top of our... Maybe bring that a little closer, Joe. You can see it okay?
Oh, you want me to come?
I hope everybody can see it okay.
You want to tell me you want to zoom in, don't you?
And hear me. Okay, and I'm going to place another, what would be a ribbon tail, up here at the top. And now I'm going to place my longer ones. Okay, now maybe zoom out. Okay, so let's put the first tail coming down.
Tiffany loves the view.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany. You
And
can
Greg-
see
Greg
it well.
Greg too.
Oh, good. Yeah, I thought for this particular design, this would be the best. So I'm glad that you feel that way as well. Okay, so I've got my first tail of our faux bow. That's the longest. And now I'm going to come in a little bit more towards the center. I hope this works. Okay, so if you can see that, they're at different lengths. So we've got a couple of faux ribbon tails coming out the top of our loops and out the bottom. Okay? Now, the next thing that I would normally do would be to green the base. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And in our coaching group, Dustin had just gone over this on greening our base and working in a pattern. So I'm going to insert my first piece of greenery here in the center. And then what he suggested is to work in triangle pattern. Go to the outside, stagger it a little bit. I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to come to the inside. So we've got the center, the top, and now I'm coming towards the bottom, inside. Okay, if you can see that okay. And for me personally, I do better when I'm designing if I work in opposites. It helps to keep me on track. So I'm going to come opposite that. Under my ribbon tails, I'm going to place my greenery in the center. I'm going to come to the inside under my bow loops. And I'm going to lift my tails up and I'm going to come to the outside. And like, I'm keeping my fingers crossed here. It looks beautiful in my head. Okay. So now let's come again. Get this all placed. So a nice simple pattern. Center and then either side working in a triangle. So to the outside. I had gone ahead and cut all my pieces. Thank you, Greg, for sprinkling. I've got Joe here again, reading comments. Joe's trying to get his arm in here and say hello. Okay, so I'm going to come opposite that. Again, maintaining that simple triangle. Oh, it just went in the wrong direction. Maybe not. And then to the outside. I'm just doing this all around the wreath. And this is going to make a nice bed for our tulips to lie in. And the reason I chose this particular greenery, I took everything into consideration. You know, we talk about having an inspiration piece. So I took the colors of the tulips, which you can see there's white. And then I decided to go with this, I think it's a tiny boxwood. I'll show that to you a little closer. But it shades to a white at the tips. So I thought that looked really nice with the tulips. And then I decided to make the bow white. So that was the reason for choosing these particular flowers. Okay, so I had one here, one here. Now I'm going to go back to the inside. Okay, so we've got that. Now I want to remember to take my greenery and go around my bow. So I'm going to come to the back.
Brian's here.
Who?
Brian's here.
Hi, Brian. I don't know who Brian. Oh, Brian. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we're getting our greenery around our bow. I want to make sure, and for those of you who are just coming on, my flowers here, I'm calling them my bow, and I have tails that are coming off my bow. And now I greened the base in the pattern that Dustin had shared with all of us. And now I'm just making sure I've got greenery, as we would in any design, around my bow. And I do. I've completed that. I've got a couple of pieces left. We'll see if we need them. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my tulips. I'm going to take 3 at a time. I keep forgetting where the camera is. I'm going to take 3 at a time, clusters, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the greenery. So I'm just going to go where I placed my first greenery in the center, and I'm going to place a tulip. I'm going to take my second. I began now with the yellow, and I'm going to alternate those. And I'm going to place this stem right next to the greenery we laid down on the outside. And then we placed one on the inside. So I'm just going to go right next to that and place that on the inside. You can see that? Not flat. So it's really pretty simple using that triangular pattern. Okay, next I'm going to grab 3 clusters of my, this is the green, you can see that, tulips, and I'm going to do the same thing, and that's what I'm going to do all the way around the wreath. I'm going to come in here next to the first greenery that I placed at the center. And next to that one on the outside, and then remember to come to the inside. Inserting in the same direction as the grapevine. The stems are long enough that they're coming in contact with a lot of the vine itself. Okay. So I got those 3 in. We'll go back to the yellow. I think alternating them will look nice.
Kathy Stevens and Nicole Feaster.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Kathy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm making a tulip wreath with a twist, is what I'm calling it. Because instead of adding a bow, I'm creating a bow with different floral and greenery for my tails. It's an idea I had in my head, and I thought, let's give it a try. First time. But what I'm doing is the technique that Dustin shared with us this week in class of using your pattern when you lay down your greenery, and then I'm doing the same thing with the tulips. Center, inside, outside, staggered in a triangular pattern. Okay, if you can see that, up a little closer. This over here is the bow. Okay, now we'll go back to my green. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. Okay, place that one on the outside. The inside. Center. And then to the outside. So,
Jan Cashman.
hi Jan, thank you for joining. I'm attempting to create a tulip wreath with a twist.
Nicole Sprinkle.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay, now we'll go back to my yellow. So to the center and then to the sides, it's given us good coverage. So I just want you to see where we're at now. It's got a good shape. Okay, so I've got a few left. So what I'm going to do with the remainder is just go in and fill any holes that I see. I'm just kind of lifting up on the stem. I just pulled the tulip head off, but I'll just glue that right back on. No problem. Don't panic. We have hot glue. We can fix anything. Pulling off some of the glue strings. Okay, I'm just going to hold this up for a second so I can get a look at it. I think right in here. I usually work on it on my easel, so this working flat seems weird. But I knew you wouldn't be able to see because of the way that I'm doing the inserting. Okay, so bow. If you can see this, can you zoom in on that a little bit, Joe? Just a little so they can see where the tails are. And this is what I have for tails. If that were ribbon. And a couple up here at the top. So I'm going to add a little tulip there. Okay, that's good. You can go back out.
Tracy Spratt.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, and like I said, I'm just going and filling in. And it's just a very airy, easy wreath. I'm going to come in a little bit here around our bow. That was a little too long. Let me cut that. There we go. Okay, I need to get a little bit over here. Just the same way we would with our bow. Okay, so we've got a little bit here. Around our bow, and I think right over here near our tails. You know how we like to get some right there around our ribbon tails. So we'll do the same thing. So what do you all think? Am I crazy?
Tracy says no, very pretty.
Thank you, Tracy. You know how it is, you get these ideas. You don't know if it's going to work until you try it.
Top right looks like a photo.
Top right here. Okay, we just need to bend some of our florals up. Give them a little shape. I do have some more tulips here. This is how they come if you've never purchased them from Michael's.
Jan says nope, not crazy, and Kathy says love it.
Oh, thank you so much. So these tulips, I love them. The first time I ever bought them was last year. They're $3.99 for a bunch, and you get, I believe it's 7 stems with multiple tulips, and they go on sale. You pick this up for $1.99. I'm not sure if they have them in the stores yet, but $1.99. You can't go wrong.
Sandy says, yes, you are crazily creative.
Thanks, Sandy. I like the sound of that. Crazily creative.
And Tiffany said, first of all, you're a very good teacher, and I love it.
Oh, thank you. It really is. It sounded easy in my head, and now that I'm doing it, it is pretty a simple wreath to do. And not expensive, so it's something that you could offer to customers at a different price point. I mean, this would be a fun design to do with your grandchildren. You know, go to Michael's and get a bunch of these tulips. I mean, and you could certainly put a ribbon bow on this, but I just wanted to be different and create the bow with a floral. Whoops, just lost a bud. Dustin says, think outside the box. So that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking outside the box.
I just replied, I don't have any grandchildren yet.
To who?
To everybody.
Oh. I mean, if your grandchildren were a little bit older, I mean, you don't really want, you want to be careful with the hot glue. But I mean, I think this would be a fun project for them to make and be able to give to their parents. That would be so nice. Or it's just a quick design. It appears. I think I need to get something over here behind our bow there as well. Yeah, I see it. I'll have to cut it later. Had a little stem coming out of the center of my bow. Okay, I think I filled that in pretty good. Now, we always like to take a little bit of greenery and incorporate it in our bow so it doesn't look like it's just sitting there. So I thought, well, I can do the same thing with the florals. So I've got a little bit of this greenery, and I think I'm just going to incorporate it the same way we would if it was a ribbon bow. And just let that peek out. I even have a couple of berries. I think I'll put some berries in the bow. Can you come in a little bit while I'm doing the bow, Joe? So I just placed some berries, just adding a little texture. What we would do if we were working on a ribbon bow. Tuck a little bit over here just to incorporate it into the design. Another little piece of greenery there. I've got another berry. These were just scraps that I had. I'm going to go opposite that one right here. I'll get a little bit more up there. Can go out now. So if you can see that, where we just added a few pieces inside our bow. It's going to be hard for you to see this. We've got our ribbon tails, a couple little tails up at the top, which we would have done with ribbon. It's going to hang. I've got my hanger on there. And that's it. This was a quick live. Actually, this was my third live. And you know what? I wasn't scared. My other two lives, I've said I'm here and I'm doing it scared, and I did not feel scared at all today. So for those of you who haven't as yet, but want to go live to help your business, I'm here to tell you it's not as bad as you think. Sure, you're going to be scared, but it's fine. I think right up here. Pull off my glue strings. Okay. There we have it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll have Joe zoom in on that a little bit. I'm going to just move it up a little bit.
Where?
Can you see it?
What do you want to see?
The bow. Here's our bow where we incorporated a few berries. And then the tails are hanging down. And then we've got our tulips. I just think it's a twist on all of the different types of tulip wreaths that are out there. Just trying to offer something that's a little bit different. And what I'll do is I will go around, and if there's any places where I can see glue, I'll add a little bit of moss. I'll take photographs. I'll post it on my page so you can see it a little bit better. I hope I explained so that you could understand. And I hope I inspired you to play with flowers. If you wouldn't mind, Joe typed this up for me. If you just follow these directions, I would so appreciate that. It's amazing how much you would be helping my business if you did each of those. Especially this one that we can't say. I love having it right here. And when you do this, when you like it, it automatically has you following me. And that's appreciated also. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to just share, you can open back up again, was the other coach in design class is Donna Mullins with On a Whim. And I'm also taking the business coaching with the group. And she highly recommended that we get a planner and that we make goals for ourselves. And that was one thing that I was doing New Year's Eve in the evening, and that day was trying to come up with some goals. And I didn't want to make them so difficult and feel like I was failing. So it was 100, right?
100 followers on Facebook.
So I made it small, and like I said, it's not even the end of January.
You started somewhere in the 20s.
I said, well, if I could get 100 followers on my YouTube channel, Facebook. And Joe just told me I'm up to what on Facebook?
95.
95. I cannot believe it. So that's less than 30 days. And that's all because of each of you. And I just wanted to say thank you. And thank you, Donna, for recommending setting some goals and looking forward to those. So obviously I need to set another goal and continue on this journey. And I hope all of you will come along with me. It's
Thank everybody for the compliments.
it's a wonderful journey, and I want to thank each and every one of you for the compliments, for being here with me. I just can't express how much it means to me. So I guess that's it for today, and I will be doing this every Sunday at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully I will eventually be doing a few more during the week. But for now, I'm just going to start out with the one. That was another one of my goals, and here I am. This is my third one, and thank you all for being here.